Okay, another deep episode of Queen Sugar. But before we get into the commentary and the review of Queen Sugar, I wanted to first talk about this real quick. Ava has really put us in the mind state that we were when this whole fight started. And of course, the fight started way before we were born or anything like that. But the reason why I wanted to take a few minutes before we get into Queen Sugar is because the Black Lives Matter movement isn't over, and honestly, it's just getting started. The fact that we are able to see the Black Lives Matter movement that we saw in the summer being played out on TV, it says a lot. The fight is not over. We cannot forget so many names. There's so much more that we have to do. So I wanted to make sure that I took some time, because we are focusing on our fight. We are focusing on the pandemic, and I understand it, but we cannot forget the injustice that we have always been through, but just tired of going through it. So, okay, no justice, no peace. Okay, let's go ahead and get into the Queen Sugar review. Okay, welcome everybody to Cameshiareviews Reviews channel. Make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe if you are new to the channel, and please do not forget to hit the bell so you don't miss any of the notifications that I do as far as uploads like this, which is going to be a premiere, or whenever I go live. So let's go ahead and get it done. Charlie's come a long way. I feel like every character is going through their own internal battle. Charlie, for instance, she's always been strong, always in the front, taking care of her sisters and brothers, her mom, grandfather, everybody, but not herself. And I think this season and in these next few episodes, we're going to see how much her neglecting self-care has put her in a position where it's all crumbling down. Everything. It's almost as if it was a mother at this point where it's like her son. She's finally let go. As a mother, that's hard. You never let go. I don't care how old your child gets. But I really believe that at this moment, Micah, she's finally seeing him. She sees him. And she's like, it's time for me to let go. And I do believe that was the last straw that was holding her together. I got to keep it together for Micah. I got to keep it together for everybody. But Micah was the last straw. As you see her going through her mind when she's laying there, all the different family members and things they're going through, she's lost in that sauce because she forgot about herself. So when her and Micah have the discussion, Micah saying he wants to go to Minneapolis. She at first, I can tell, wanted to do the whole, oh my God, I don't want you to go, stop. He made a point of saying, Mom, I'm not asking for your permission. He said, I'm asking for your support. I think for her, like any other mother, it put her in a different position. So instead of saying, no, I don't want my child to go, but my child is grown and he's asking for my support. He's not lying to me. He's not doing it behind my back. He just straight told me in my face, this is what's going on. So I think for her, she decided, I'm going to let it go. So he's going to go where George was at. He wants to be there. He wants to be out on the forefront in the fight. Nova Jr., I swear. So as Charlie and Nova are talking as sisters, Nova's saying that she's going to take her stepdaughter back home or back to school. Her and Calvin are taking a road trip. She also says she wants to see how it is at the airport. People of color, what they're going on, the mask. She just wants to see. She's covering her story. She's doing her thing. And she also pointed out how she thought it was so easy, her and Charlie both, for a child just to pick up and go. because Mike is just like, I'm just gonna go. No responsibilities, no time. I'm just gonna go. Yes, those were the days. I swear. So Nova did point out to Charlie, self-care. She's always pointed that out to her since she came back home. Take care of yourself. We go over to Blue, who is now, he's still a child, but he's had to learn some adult things early, as we've seen in the last episode. So in this episode, him and his parents, Darla, Ralph Angel, are making these signs. They're getting ready to go to this protest. Well, before Nova goes on the trip, Nova finds out the permits, something happened to mix up. So they want to make sure, she want to make sure everyone was safe, especially the kids. The kids are not able to march, which is disappointing to everybody. But Ralph Angel says, look, we made these signs, we're doing this fight, let's go. We're going to go ahead and we're going to go and we're going to march. As they're sitting there and talking, one of the signs was, he cried out for his mom. Now we're going to be there for him. And, Blue was like, I don't understand. To have to explain to your young child that this was this man's last words that he said on earth ever, calling out for his mother, and wasn't able to get any help. To explain that to a child, because these conversations are having all over the world. So as they're making the signs, Ralph Angel's telling Darla, you're doing fine. They find out that Blue, he took the IQ test, that his numbers are pretty up there. I have a feeling that this whole IQ situation is going to come into play for a different storyline. I don't know what. And the reason why I say that is because when they had the bridal shower and Darla's mother found out about the IQ test being taken, the first thing that Darla said to Aunt Vi was, well, there's some schools here in Washington that I think would be a great fit for Blue. I have connections. Let me check into it. And we only heard a brief conversation about that, but I know that's not the end of that conversation. There will be a battle, I do believe, because there was a battle in the beginning of the first season, as you remember, as far as Blue, Darla's parents. Yeah, it's going to be another one. On Vi, another internal battle. Let me come back to this. Let me say this. Let me go back to Blue and Darla and Ralph Angel. When they decide to go with their signs to protest, they were just standing on the outside of their land with their signs. No big deal, right? No justice, no peace. That's what they shouted. Then, of course, they hear that famous whoop whoop pulling up. Blue's like, did we do anything wrong? He's like, nope. Let's just see what's going on. We should be fine. So the officer walks up. I could tell by the body language and the demeanor of the officer, the temperature, what was going to happen. I was hoping nothing physical, but I can tell. We all know that look, unfortunately. So when the officer walked up and questioned what they were doing, of course, the same mantra. I was told, I heard there was a disturbance of some kind of thing, law being broken, etc., etc. Ralph Angel, we're not doing anything wrong here. We are protesting on our land. The officer, your land. Yes, we own this land. Really? Had the nerve to ask him for proof. The audacity. I spoke about this on Willie B TV and El Teddy when we had a panel discussion on her live, when I stated there's two different ways, a black woman and a black man, as far as dealing with the police, especially a racist police. They want to make the man feel small, like he's nothing, especially in front of his son. Darla said, I'm going to go run Go get the paperwork. As she runs away, he looks at Darla and says, So the disrespect comes there. I spoke of this already, that when a white officer, a racist officer, I should say, looks at a black woman, it is always in a sexual way. This has been going on for a very long time. All she simply was doing was running to the truck or running to the house to get the paperwork, and he looks at her and goes, He disrespects Ralph Angel standing there, who that is his wife. But you put this man in a position to do what? To get riled up and angry because you said, and he knew what you meant by it, to get him all riled up and angry, for him to react to it, and then you're like, oh, I have to react, I feel threatened, and then you injure this black man in front of his son. That's why I said Blue honestly is getting adult situations early in life. Unfortunately, he has to learn that, like most black young men have to learn anyway. So that whole situation was frustrating to watch, but it's real life. It's real talk. It really is. So let's go ahead and go to Envy. Her and Hollywood. Hollywood is in such a bad way right now. He is in such a bad way. And I know it's a small thing when I see him drinking more beer. I've always seen them drinking alcohol, which nothing's wrong with that. I drink me a good cold beer. Okay? So nothing about that. But, and this is someone who, if you drink beer, you kind of know what I'm saying when I say this. Or been in the South. If a person drinks beer in the morning before they eat breakfast, that's not good. That means in order to even function, you have to not be sober. You have to have some kind of alcohol in your system the start of your day. That's your, I think Ava said, your breakfast of champs. Sarcastic comment, but I knew what she meant by that. He seems to kind of shrugs her off and acts like it's whatever. Is him and Prosper sitting there watching a game that's already been played, because obviously there's no football. We're in the middle of a pandemic. A lot of things are on hold. So they are watching old games, and she comes in to simply ask, we got one for dinner. And probably say, I don't care. Thank you for everything. Hollywood is like, it's whatever. So she's standing there and she's telling Darla, she's telling them, she told Darla about having Blue involved and seeing so much of the George and all these things that are going on. And then she was about to say, well, Darla said to me, Hollywood interrupted her and said, she said for you to stay out of it? I was like, this energy that Hollywood is giving. She was like, well, he said, if you want me to sit here and tell you all this that make you feel better, I'm sorry, I don't have it today. I'm going to sit here and watch this game that I've already seen before, I know it's going to happen, and wait for my beautiful wife who can cook to bring me something to eat. She was like, this is not you. And he said, this is me today. I want to do anything, watch something on this tube that's going to make me forget about the world and what's going on. Which a lot of us was there. At the beginning of the pandemic, we all have a story of outlets of things that we did to try to forget we were in the middle of the pandemic, to forget all, not forget, but just so much bad that was happening. Prosper knew, let me get up and leave. Hollywood kind of looked to the side and said, oh no, Prosper leaving. We about to have a discussion. I said, oh Lord Jesus. So she's frustrated, feeling overwhelmed right now. She's at her restaurant. She's tired doing takeouts. She told Charlie when they had the little discussion, she said she's going to start just cooking in her kitchen. She's checking on Charlie and Micah. She told her Micah's going out of town. She said, what you doing? She's trying to look out for everybody. But that's normal. It's normal auntie. That's normal. Okay. She's trying to make sure everybody's good. So Nova and her stepdaughter are on their little trip. And I knew something was wrong with the stepdaughter. She seemed kind of off. And I think she's having like guilt. She feels like she's not doing enough. And I think Nova is actually starting to care and get close to her and was like, look, always feel uncomfortable. Always feel like you're not doing enough. Just giving her advice. They didn't really show Calvin. I think it was more of a bonding moment for Nova and her, to be honest with you. Okay. I can tell Darla was having a hard time with telling Blue the things that she had to tell him, but the men, the internal battle that I think everyone's having right now, Ralph Angel was so frustrated because everything that happened. So of course him and his BFF was having a conversation, him and Hollywood. They both going through so much internally. So Ralph Angel and him and Hollywood talking. This is my boy here to see all that stuff. I'm like, what do I tell him? How do I prepare my son for everything that we have gone through and we don't know what to do with it? And then as Ralph Angel, when he talks to Hollywood, as he goes through his room, he starts to remember when Blue was little. Yep, that little blue suit. And how he had a little doll. And there was a turning point where he was coming to him about that doll, and all of a sudden he looked and seen that the doll that he has is a man doll with a Superman cape. And I was like, wait, when did that happen? The turning point for me is when Ralph Angel took that doll that you see right there on the screen in my little, he threw it in the trash. And I said, let him be who he is. Whoever Blue gonna be, let him be. If you're playing with a girl doll, a guy doll, that may not determine anything. I think those stereotypes from years and years and years have really had a lot of kids battling, especially my generation. I mean, I was one of those girls that really, I liked Barbies, but honestly, I was into the boy toys. I always have been. They didn't determine anything but what I did in my future in my life. But I always loved the boy cartoons. My favorite cartoon was G.I. Joe. I'm just being honest. I climbed more trees and got dirt in my nails. And if I use a Barbie, I used to cut her hair off and burn her hair on the light bulb. So I'm saying I was a bad child. Okay? You know that right now. But the point that I'm trying to make is let these kids be who they are. Just period. Let them be free to choose whatever they want to choose. Okay? And I think at that moment, Ralph Angel had a moment of clarity. He was like, look, you know what? As a black man, I can't. They treat me like I'm a child, like I'm not even a man, like I can't even own property. So in this house, the things I have control over, I'm going to let my son be who he is. So, as I told you guys, Miss Charlie been struggling this entire episode. She has been struggling past a couple episodes, but she woke up in pain. Now, I didn't know she was having a panic attack, because panic attacks can cause, like, you feel like you can't breathe and that you are losing it and that you are in pain. It can be very physical, not just mental. People always assume everything is just mental, but it can be physical because it's so strong and it's so powerful. The brain is extremely, extremely powerful. And she tried to call everybody. She called Ralph Angel. She called Aunt Vi. She called her sister. Everyone that she tried to call was busy. She couldn't get a hold of anyone. And we all have an ex, whether it be an ex-husband, ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend, ex-whatever. You try everything that you can not to call your ex. Especially if you are struggling and you're doing bad. You don't want your ex to know that you're doing bad. That's just everyone does that. But guess who she had to call? At the very, very end, she said, I'm doing very bad. Now, I don't know if this is something that Davis knows about, like in their past. He's known her since, college. So I don't know if in her past, when women or people who are very high, they achieve high goals and they're really hard themselves. Those are the ones who get a panic attack very easily. It's because they want everything to be perfect. They want everything to be, and if it's not, or they lose control, they can't handle it. Back in the day, they would call people high strung. It's not necessarily high strung. The panic attack comes when they lose control. I'm breaking everything down for you guys today. Okay. So, think I got everything. The revolution will not be televised, right? Yes. As far as I'm concerned, yes, I am a person of color, and yes, I'm a blogger. But I'm black, and I'm a woman. And that's something that's a part of me I'm proud to be. And will always stand up for, no matter what position I'm in, is a job, whether I'm a blogger, manager, whatever I'm doing in my life. I hope you guys enjoy this commentary. Please go and share, like, subscribe. Go follow me on Facebook. Go follow me on Twitter. Follow me on YouTube. Just follow me, period. And thank you so much for the love. With that being said, bye.